Hello, hello, hello. Uh, Hello, good evening, good evening. Good evening. Uh, Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. This this is uh, I know I might take many of you as surprise because you probably be somehow sleeping, and somehow thank you morning for joining in. Thank you for joining in. If you just join in, share. That's the philosophy. Share, like, and copy and paste. That's the philosophy. Share, because either way we must get the information to the right source. And I want to thank all of you that are tuning in this evening. It's a wonderful. It's good evening. And I want to thank all of you that are tuning in this evening. I cannot be more than prouder than having you guys this evening. But today, I am going to address so many issues, but the particular topic that I'm going to be talking about is an appeal for the U.S. Secretary of State, and it is an urgent appeal that we require that the United States Secretary of State and uh, uh, take to these considerations as much as possible, and that is why I am appealing to the U.S. Secretary of State. And so I want to thank all of you that are tuned in this evening. Here again, my name is Funton Daniel. Today is December 7th and 2018. We are almost at the point of giving up for this year's. Thank you, Don, for watching, and thank all of you that are going to be tuned in. I have important issues that I'm going to be addressing, and the message will also be addressed to the United States citizens in and around the United States and those outside the United States. This is a special appealing that United States must take into considerations. And I will also be talking about the U.S. Senate representative. They have written a letters. This is not the second time. This is not the first time that they've written. And so we are asking that the United States need to intervene as soon as possible to avert this humanitarian crisis. I think many citizens here in the United States believe that the United States government has an opportunity to do something to avert this crisis. It's not only us, but other United States officials. Former U.S. Secretary of State for under African Affairs has talked about these issues, and the U.S. Ambassador Peter has talk about this. And this is really an appealing to the U.S. Secretary of State. So we will be dealing with this continual appeal to the United States. And here again, I am broadcast here on my Facebook and on my YouTube as well. So I want to thank for all of you that are tuned in this evening. Here again, my name is Funtom. If you are here in a state, whatever in which state, Texas, uh, around the 51 or 50 states, just indicate below. So I really appreciate your comment that you made, and it gives me some kind of highlight or to understand what is our positions. Are we in accordance with the same agreement? And so that is why I will be talking this evening, and I want to thank all of you that are tuned in this evening. Here again, my name is Funto. But for those in the state of Texas, I am really concerned about the weather. So if you are driving, make sure you pay close attention for other pedestrians because the road is raining here this evening here in the north state of Texas. So if you are driving, make sure you focus on the road and pay attention to other pedestrians that I will be driving. So those are the news that I just want to let those who are driving around here in the North Dallas area. So the weather is severe here. And I want to take a moment to thank all of you that are tuned in. And I will be broadcast on my Facebook and on my YouTube as well. So, uh, there are there are at least 8 U.S. senators. This appealing that I am written and that I am asking. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But thank you so much. Um, 8 members of the United States Senate have written a letter addressed to the U.S. Secretary of State. Um, and these letters addressed to Michael Pompeo. Michael Pompeo is a wonderful person. He is the Secretary of State of the United States. He's a wonderful person, and he has done a tremendous job. Formerly, he was in the CIA director, and he has done a wonderful job for these great nations. And the problem of about Southern Cameroon, the former British trusted territory, is not something that is new to the current U.S. Secretary of State, Michael Pompeo. It's not something that is new. Michael Pompeo is well vested within the CIA. He understood not only just the Southern Cameroon, but the world global affairs in general. So therefore, I am adding my appeal to the United States and on behalf of the citizens of the Southern Cameroon that are currently, who are also citizens here in this great nation, the United States. All the citizens in these wonderful nations contribute tremendously to the effectiveness and working collaborative to help in these wonderful great nations of the United States. And so, therefore, many are seriously concerned about the ongoing genocide in their motherland. And I am not an exception. We, all of us within the United States, and all of us within the Northern Hemisphere, within the United States, Washington, within the United States, Europe, Russia, China, all Africa, all the sons and daughters of the Southern Cameroon. They are appealing that to the United States Secretary of State, Michael Pompeo, and the United States Defense Secretary, James Mattis. We are appealing that the sons and daughters of the Southern Cameroon can no longer concentrate in this atmosphere. We are asking the U.S. Secretary of State that the sons and daughters from the Southern Cameroon can no longer concentrate, given the current situation that is going on in our motherland. That's where we were born. We feel that we are indebted after a long distance that we are here in the wonderful nations. We work collaboratively. We help our little families that are back home. But given the current crisis, that each day when we look forward on the internet, either on Facebook, or someone calling us and tell us this person has been killed, it is very painful. And we are joining the voice with the 8 senators that have still calling your office. They believe that the United States has a responsibility to do something on behalf of the citizens of the Southern Cameroon. And we are not exceptionally. And so I'm going to read the list of the 8 U.S. senators, and this including the past U.S. Congress members that have also written several letters to your office. And I believe it's time the United States Secretary of Defense and the U.S. Secretary of State do something about it. You all remember that a dictatorship government, they never believe that something can happen. And so because they never believe that something can happen, they believe that their power comes from God. Because they believe that their power comes from God and can never be touched by anyone. And that is why Muammar Gaddafi still believed that his power came from God. But the United States step up and do something. Just as the invasion of Kuwait, the former president that we are, he's been laid to rest. He will be laid to rest. Former George Bush. When the Iraqi president invaded the Kuwait, it was a serious concern to the United States. And the United States liberate. And today the people are still enjoying the freedom that the United States extends. Our people are appealing to the U.S. Secretary of State, Michael Pompeo, and the U.S. Secretary of Defense, James Mattis. We are appealing because the money rate in our people in our homeland, La République du Cameroon, were never a conquered territory. We were never a conquered territory. We all recognize that the United Nations give the mandate that the citizens, that those nations that were under the colonial territory be given mandate to prepare them for their eventual independence. Our people are not ethnic. We are not as secessionists as prescribed by many media. Secessionists, in reality, is when one nation is breaking away. We came together, just like the French-speaking Canadian and the English-speaking Canadian. They came together because they belong to two colonial masters, Britain and France. And they have a choice to decide. The French and the British Canadians have voted twice in a referendum whether they should remain independent or they should live together with one Canada. But they have voted, they've given them opportunity, despite the fact that the French speaking prefer to live together with the British speaking Canadian. Our people, we came together as equal power, equal strength, equal identity, but yet we find it offensive that our people, our children, our mother, our brothers, our uncle are either being murdered or being sexually harassed. There is nobody within here in the United States and elsewhere that can firmly deny that La République du Cameroon has not caused any atrocity into his or her family. And therefore, many of us all over the social media are speaking because each time when you look at what is happening, and of course, if you look at some of the images that I have on my Facebook, some are even restricted to put on my Facebook because of the Facebook policy, preventing that the certain images should not be placed. And that is why so many of those images may not be found on Facebook. But however, it is offensive that we find our situation in this demoralized way. So therefore, why I am thanking the wonderful senator that have presented to you these letters. I know the letter is in front of your desk. Why are you working? The people of Southern Cameroon does not need a written letter. They need a unilateral action against dictatorship, because dictatorship are not, they do not read written letters. They depend on when there is a weapon stationed in front of the Yaoundé capital, that the United States is willing to intervene on behalf of the people of Southern Cameroon, the people of the former British trusted territory. If that is the action that must be on the table. If there is no time frame to indicate that the United States is willing to act immediately and swiftly, then La République will not respond to any of such a call. And therefore, I am asking the United States, the list of the senators that present this case is on your table. Chris Van Hollen, United States Senator. Richard J. Durbin, United States Senator. Edward J. Mackey of United States Senator. Benjamin Cody, United States Senator. Amy, United States Senator. Elizabeth Warren, United States Senator. Christopher Kuhn, United States Senator. Jeffrey Mackey, United States Senator. Tim Kaine, United States Senator, and one time Vice President for the last presidential election. And Kamala Harris, United States Senator. Those are the list of the United States Senators that just tabled a letter today at your office. We want to appeal to you that you take a second look on this decision that they've written, that La Republique under the current dictatorship form, yeah, will never in any circumstances acknowledge that the military brutality that is currently invading Southern Cameroon territory, the murder rate and the torturing of our fellow brothers and sisters is unbearable. And therefore, we are appealing to the United States that United States has an obligation to do something in this current crisis. Fellow U.S. Secretary of State, Michael Pompeo, U.S. Department Secretary, James Mattis, we are appealing that it is imperative that the United States is not a matter of written letters. It's a matter of an unilateral action given within the time frame that the United States must act and do something against this crisis that is taking place in the Southern Cameroon territory. Article 1608 of the United Nations Charter, that article specified of 1961 specify and recognizing the people of Southern Cameroon as a free nation. The fact that they choose to cohabit with the neighboring country, La Republique du Cameroon, doesn't give La Republique an upper hand to carry out military invasion. And that is why I am thankful for our leaders that are currently in La Republique jail. La Republique has no mandate and no authority to carry on any trial of the leadership of the people of Southern Cameroon. They have no mandate, they have no legality. Of course, when Ayub Tabi Seseko was asked a few days ago where his nationality, he knew that he is not belongs to La Republique. La Republique is not his nation, it's not his nation. And he has a right to define which nation he belongs to. And he exactly states, I am a Southern Cameroon. And he is proud to be a Southern Cameroon. La Republique has no power, no obligation, and to arrest and detain the people of Southern Cameroon in La Republique, because there is no document that specifies that La Republique and the people of Southern Cameroon are together. There is no document. When the United Nations in 1961 signed the document specified the Southern Cameroon, it did not specify that Southern Cameroon is going to cohabit with the neighboring country, La Republique du Cameroon. It specified that the people of Southern Cameroon are a nation. And so too, in 1960, when the same body, United Nations, signed its document recognizing La Republique, did not indicate on that document that Southern Cameroon in 1961 or in the future years to come is going to be part of La Republique. There is no document that specifies. And so therefore, the fact that our people has chosen that we can cohabit with La Republique doesn't give La Republique an upper hand to persecute our sons and daughters, including our own cabinet officials. Our people have the legal right to question the legality of La Republique du Cameroon influence in the people of Southern Cameroon. We have demonstrated our ability. We have called upon the United Nations. United Nations has paid a deaf ear as though nothing is happening, because bribing and corruption is the key figure at the United Nations. The current United Nations Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, is the most corrupted official since the creation of the United Nations. I can recall when Bill Clinton single-handedly told Brutus Ghali that he must depart from the United Nations. It's because of the same corruption that has persisted in that same office, the United Nations. And that is why Bill Clinton said, over my dead body, I will have Brutus Ghali at the head of the United Nations. It was coincided that the United Nations was the first time to have an Africa at the head of that body. But unfortunately, Bill Clinton recognized that the fact that having a corrupted individual at the head of the United Nations is to have somebody else. And that leads to the election of Kofi Annan became the next Secretary General at the highest body of the United Nations. So despite the fact that this office has been the worst corrupted officials under the helm of this individual called Antonio Guterres, imagine that while we are speaking, the office is carrying on corruption, bribery from the brutal dictatorship. And that is why we see inconsistent evil happening within around the world. Because the United Nations has deviated from its objective of promoting peace and tranquility around the world to a more of a bribery home for the rest of the world. And that is why the world is more corrupted, because of the bribery of the United Nations. And I believe that the United States has an obligation to do something to make the world lasting peace of human dignity. I believe that the United States has an obligation to do something. Just as the former Attorney General of the United States, the former Attorney General of the United States, when they learned about the corruption in FIFA, the United States Attorney General indicted the FIFA officials. And when the U.S. Attorney General indicted FIFA officials, they were immediately arrested in Switzerland. And that creates a responsibility that the United States has the power to do something to make a difference to the rest of the world community. And that is why when the FIFA is the World Football Federation, because when I talk of FIFA, some people may not know what I am referring to. FIFA is the World Football Federation. World Football Federation was the most corrupted system that one has ever envisaged in the world body. It was so corrupt that the United States Attorney General indicted FIFA officials. And when that was done, they were immediately arrested in Switzerland. And as soon as they were arrested, a new body came in. And now FIFA is more better as compared to the previous FIFA that we knew of. And that corruption has strictly nailed down. And that we can be proud that we have another football federation called FIFA. And so United Nations is not exception. United Nations is not above United States. United Nations is in the United States. And the United Nations is governed by the laws of the United States. As a foreign body, physically here in the United States, must abide by the rules and regulations of the United States. But since the leadership of that very body are the most corrupted official that is leading the body. And that is why when we present our case of the people of Southern Cameroon, the former British trusted territory, is a legitimate case. And that is why we present to the United Nations. Yet, United Nations is still afraid to bring the matter up for debate, because the United Nations current Secretary General is the most is living on bribery and corruption. Imagine you all saw from the gold that was awarded to him when he met Pompeo of La République du Cameroon. And that gold is still in the image of the citizens of Southern Cameroon across the hemisphere. And the painful feeling that they believe that they cannot have their case here, a good hearing of their case, because of the corrupted individuals that is physically here in the United States. So therefore, I am appealing to the U.S. Secretary of State, Michael Pompeo. I am appealing to the U.S. Secretary of State for Defense, James Mattis. I think the people of sons and daughters of the Southern Cameroon that are physically here in the United States need your indulgence to help them and liberate them, because the current status of the people of Southern Cameroon in La Republic, and that they continue murdering and slaughtering of citizens, just like animals, is unbearable to the citizens across the United States, across the globe. The sons and daughters have decided to take arms because they cannot see where they cannot have a breathing space. They cannot see where they cannot have an oxygen that is coming, because they have a brutal government of La Republic. The fact is clear. The fact is clear. The document is clear. It specifies that the citizen has an obligation to stand for any dictatorship any their brothers and sisters. Imagine you have a military occupation that are constantly brutalize your sons and daughters. Constantly, United States did United States as a former colony of the Great Britain. When the British increased taxes on the citizens of this great nation, United States stood up and said no taxation without a representative. That was a message to the people to the ground crown of Britain. That no taxation without a representative. And the people advocate, United States stood for and fought for. And today, United States is a free nation. United States is the most strongest nation on this planet because they stood for unjust taxation against the fellow citizens of this great nation. And so the citizens of the Southern Cameroon is not a exception. Our people have sons and daughters. They have to bribe at least 2 million to get a job. They have to bribe to get access to a higher institute of learning. They have to pay at least 2 million before they can be considered for any position. They have to pay 5 million in the local currency before they can be considered for any position. They have to pay. Bribery has been the architects because the citizens were never recognized that they are part of life. I don't know. But anyway, I'm sorry. I don't know whoever is. But anyway. So, you know, our sons and brothers and sisters, they have to bribe. They have to pay at least 2 million. One will have to call, say, I have a job to be accepted into ENS. That's the most famous, the ENS. You have to pay at least 2 million before your application could even be considered to even push forward. How many of us here in the United States have you paid a certain amount before your application be looked upon? If you did well on your exam, if you pass and you did well, you don't need to deposit 2 million before you consider for that position. And so the citizens of Southern Cameroon is capable to manage their own affairs. They do not need La Republic. The reason why they need La Republic is because we can work together. But after 56 years in this forceful wedding that never took place, the citizens are tired of it and they want to let go La Republic and live on their own because they have lived on their own. When the French invasion La Republic in the 1950s to the 60s, many of them escaped and took a refuge in the Southern Cameroon territory. And Southern Cameroon has their own government. Why is it that they can't have their own government, but they must depend on La Republic to consider whether they can have an effective government? I think it's time that the Southern Cameroon move forward and have their own independence and their own food. They already have their independence. They want to have a recognition that they can live together. So we are asking the U.S. Secretary of State, Michael Pompeo, and the U.S. Defense Secretary, James Mattis, that the citizens of the Southern Cameroon, physically here in the United States, are asking that you extend your handshake and that the United States recognizing temporary government of the people of Southern Cameroon until an effective government is elected. At the moment, we have a temporary government that stands as a shield on the people of Southern Cameroon. This temporary government called the IG or whatever it is, it stands as a unit, a symbol on behalf of the citizens of Southern Cameroon. It stands as a symbol and is physically here in the United States. The symbolism about it is believed that a unity on behalf of to protect the citizens of Southern Cameroon. And so therefore, we are asking the United States to step hand and support the citizens and recognize a temporary until an effective government is elected and takes over the new interim government of the people of Southern Cameroon. I believe that if the United States extend a handshake and recognize and organize a more transition period to a more effective democratic government, the people of Southern Cameroon believe in a democratic government. We have exercised this democratic government before under Jongu Foncha, under EMN Dele, Jongu Foncha, and Gujwa. Those were the prime ministers that were elected in Southern Cameroon. And they recognized the transfer of power from one elected officials to the next. La République has never, from Amadou Ahidjo, the brutal dictatorship for 25 years, to the current one that has been for 36 years and now probably going to return goes to 40-something years. Our people has, within a short space of time, within 10 years, they have to demonstrate an elected officials. And with the elected officials, there was no squab, there was no fighting. They recognized each leadership. And each individual were able to recognize that they belong to opposition. And they were never infighting. And therefore, the citizens believe in this factual that a democratic leadership must be the one that are able to organize elections and elect another government. And so we are asking the United States to step in and recognizing the interim government until a meaningful and election government is took place in the people of Southern Cameroon. We know the democratic form of government here in the United States. And we are demonstrating that we no longer choose to live together with La République because our experience being with La République has been the worst nightmare that we have ever envisaged. And so therefore we are appealing to all members of the U.S. Congress. We are appealing for the United States White House. We are appealing for the U.S. Senate. We are appealing for all levels of the United States government that our people are bleeding. Our people are bleeding. It's not only just our people bleeding. The United States has also been affected. When the missionary Charles Wesco was brutally murdered by La République in the Southern Cameroon territory, it was a place he envisaged that is a place he could transfer his children and live there happily. That was somebody he lived with all the wonderful benefits here in this great nation on earth. But he believed that he has a duty, a call to duty in Southern Cameroon territory, and that he can deliver some form of Christianity to the people of Southern Cameroon. And he also traveled with his children. But these children, and he was called off within a short space of time. And so our people we want a freedom. We want a system where we are free to share our ideas. We want a government that we can call upon and they will be responsible to the people, to the citizens. We don't want a government of dictatorship. One single individual at the helm of the government that marry each citizen. Pompeo has been in the helm of La République since 1975, when he became a prime minister. Since 1975, Pompeo became prime minister in 1975. In 1982, he became president. And to this present moment, he is still the president. United States has elected how many presidents in these great nations? Why does he think that he is the only one that is capable to manage the affairs of Cameroon more than any other person else? Why does he think that he only the ones that have been educated is in school? Why does he believe so? We have other intelligence, smart, that have been in the highest level here in the United States, Europe, and elsewhere around the world. I am calling on the U.S. Congress. I am calling on the U.S. Senate It's time to stand on behalf of the people of Southern Cameroon. They deserve a breathing space. They deserve a government that is accountable. They deserve a government that represents the aspiration of the citizens. Our people no longer have this. I am asking, appealing for the United States, Michael Pompeo. It's not time to write documents. We all know that dictatorship never appeal to any document that is written, except you give them the time frame. So we are asking the United States to give a time frame and ask Pompeo to this take off his military out of Southern Cameroon. Fellow citizens here of this great nation, the United States. I may be speaking, you guys may not be wondering what is going on, what is happening with this guy here in the state of Texas. It's because it's chaos going on in my home, in my land of my birth. That is because it's chaos going on there. When I see my brothers and sisters that are being murdered, young, matured boys, and that is why La Republique, in a personal organized meeting in A2D, emphasize that young boys from 8 years till 50 must be murdered in Southern Cameroon territory. La Republique own nothing in Southern Cameroon. La Republique need to quit Southern Cameroon. La Republique need to relieve whatever they have. We are asking the United States. There's no more appealing that we can make. The United States need to help the Southern Cameroon. The United States need to relieve the pressure that is going on in Southern Cameroon. The sons and daughters is capable to manage the internal affairs of the people of Southern Cameroon. They don't need La Republique to detect what has to be done. What has to be done? So we are asking United States and appealing to United States. It's time to do something. It's time to do something. Sorry for the connections. But anyway, once more again, I am appealing to the United States, the citizens of these wonderful nations, that the people of Southern Cameroon are going through an agony. They are going through a distress. They are going through a chronic pain that has been inflicted by the neighboring country, La Republique du Cameroon, and on the citizens of the Southern Cameroon. So we are asking United States Congress. We are asking United States Senate. This is Christmas here in the United States. This is a period of Christmas that people will be celebrating here with harmony. But the people of Southern Cameroon will not be celebrating because they are in the forest. They are living in the forest. Some has been bitten by snakes. Some has been killed by animals. Some has been infected by mosquitoes. Some their homes have been burned to ashes. And while I am still speaking, there's some of their homes may be burned down tonight. especially the people of Banso. The people of Banso are the ones that are suffering this effect. It's not just the Banso, but there are other people elsewhere that are going through the excruciating pain and suffering that is orchestrated by the neighboring country like Republic. I am asking United States, there's more pleading that I cannot express here. The sons and daughters need the help of the United States. United States need to do something about it. We cannot sit and fold our arms as though we are not seeing what is happening. We knew. The United States ambassador spoke extensively about the target killing. We have also witnessed the United States citizen, Charles Wesco, a missionary that was brutally murdered. We are aware of this fact. How much fact do we need that we can take unilateral action? United States is capable to take unilateral action without any other nation participating. United States is capable. How much fact does the United States need to intervene on the sons and daughters? I am speaking because I cannot sleep, because I feel the pain when I stood up and I looked at what La Republique military is doing on our brothers and sisters and what they are murdering. I don't think you will be one to go to bed and feel that you are sleeping. Fellow United States, you have something responsibility to do something. We have responsibility. You have a responsibility. United States. Previous 24 members of Congress write a document tabled at the former Secretary of State. I'm sure that document was not deleted from your table. You witnessed it and you understand that the magnitude of 24 U.S. congressmen writing on different districts presented to the Secretary of State for U.S. Secretary of State. That implies that there's something going wrong somewhere, because they did not just represent one district, they represent several different districts. A 24 member of the U.S. Congress across the United States, right to the office. I'm sure that document was not deleted. You saw it. And if you didn't saw it, I think someone should have relayed to you that there is ongoing crisis. At least U.S. ambassador to the neighboring country, La Republique du Cameroon, Mr. Peter, wrote about that extensively. And his life was even threatened. Charles Wesco also indicates his death and allow his 10 children that were accompanying him. It's significant that the United States has a duty to do something about it. Our people are tired. They cannot be living in the forest. They're beaten by snakes. They've been beaten by snakes. Their homes are burned down. Even the homes that have antennas are being burned down because they believe that they're getting information that is coming from the United States. The United States have become a more threat to La Republique, because homes are being burned indiscriminately by the military of La Republique du Cameroon. The homes are being burned indiscriminately. Sometimes they shoot the owner of the house. The owner are shot and burned in the same home that he's been found. This is evidence that is documented everywhere. How much evidence does the United States need? How much evidence does the United States need? Because if 24 members of the United States Congress that represent different districts, at least they represent 24 different districts, and if 24 different districts of members of Congress present a case, it means that that case has reached a crisis state and that the United States need to act upon it. Today, while I am speaking, the same member of Senate are writing a second time, and they have drafted a resolution. I think the United States Secretary of State need to do something about it. And that is why I am calling on the United States Secretary of State, Michael Pompeo. You are not a new person on this office. You were formerly a CIA director, and CIA has done tremendous job around the world. You are not an exception. And that is why I am speaking here from this great state of Texas. That how much evidence do you need to act? Remember that the brutal dictatorship are not the brutal dictatorship. They don't receive documents because, first of all, they think they are above written document. Because when you talk of written document, you refer to the Constitution, you refer to all those documents. They believe they are both constitutions, they are both written documents. And so the United States is capable to take another alternative to tell the Republic that I'm not going to be writing documents to you. I am going to tell you what United States, is capable of doing. I think United States is capable of doing this. How many members of Congress need to write the U.S. Secretary of State? How many members of the U.S. Senator will have to write the U.S. Secretary of State to take unilateral action? I think the United States is capable. United States doesn't need another nation to intervene on behalf. United States alone is capable to do something. How many more evidence does the United States need? How many more evidence? I think the United States has the power to do something and make a difference, a significant difference on behalf of the citizens. Imagine that I am working here in the United States. I contribute for this wonderful economy, even significantly to the benefit of this great nation. And therefore, if I am sitting here and to talk about the crisis that is going on, that should be something that should have been done significantly for the moral benefit of these great nations. I think many other citizens, imagine that you translate that people sit up and talk about their own citizens being murdered. How many lose are United States benefiting if United States can take significant action and terminate that relationship? United States is capable. It doesn't require the arsenal of the United States military. Just the AFRICOM can do a significant damage to La Republic. The US AFRICOM can do a significant damage, but it requires instruction. And how much evidence does the United States need? How much evidence? The AFRICOM, which is based in Africa, it requires an instruction and direct to take decisions and take action and leave people that are living in the forest. Imagine 800,000 are living in the forest. 800,000. At least close to 1,000 homes have been burned to ashes. At least 1,000 homes have been burned to ashes by the military of La Republic. There is evidence shown lively that you see a truck of military of the neighboring country, La Republic, burning home and lighted fire and surround them and make sure that anyone coming out of that home is shot dead. How much evidence does the United States need? How much evidence does the United States need? How many members of the U.S. Senate need to write for the United States to understand? How much evidence? I think the United States need to do something about it. United States need to do something about it. Fellow United States, you might be wondering, why is it so? Well, imagine you have one individual that has lived in power for 36 years, and now he's going to be another 7 years, which means he's going to eventually turn to 90-something years before he relinquishes his power, and which we are not even sure. So he's going to rule even after his death. He still believes that he's still the president. Even when he's mentally incoherent, when he's mentally challenged, when he's incoherent, he can't process information. Paul Biya, in absolute terms, cannot process information, for God's sake. Paul Biya is mentally dead. Paul Biya is mentally incoherent. He's been surrendered by a clique, a group of Betis. That is the people from his rural area. And that is why you have the general that are from his rural area. You have the finance minister is from his rural area. You have every individual are from his rural area. The police is from his rural area. And so that is why the murdering and the slaughtering of citizens in our territory has nothing to do with La Republic. Imagine our people are free people. Our people, we were simply living together as a cohabiting. We were never being part of La Republic. We were never. Remember that when the French government invaded La Republic in the 50s and in the 60s, because the UPC has the potential to become the leading party in La Republic. France was so worried about the UPC being the leadership of become the control of that country. France was adamantly, vehemently denied for UPC to become the leadership. And so that is why French invaded La République, and many Bamilekes were murdered and slaughtered. Our people were able to accommodate the migrants from La République coming to our territory. Our people were able to accommodate. Our people provide a safe haven for those fleeing the war-torn area of La République and were fleeing to the southern Cameroon. Many of them, we gave them residency. So imagine that today, we are fleeing our own home. We are fleeing our own home because we invite La République in our home. It is quite painful to express because you can feel it that my people, that they invite La République during the France invasion of La République, because UPC had the potential to become the leading party in La République and was against the philosophy of the French policy. And so France invaded the UPC party and especially the leadership. Many of them escaped and took a refuge in southern Cameroon. So today, our people are taking a refuge in the forest because we invited La République in our home. This is amazing turn of history, and why some the world body are describing us as a cessationist. When you can see people convert word meaning to a wrong word meaning, that we are seceding from La République. It is quite amazing because when you see me speaking, I speak because I feel the pain. Because when the world body sit and describe us that we are seceding from the neighboring country, La République. Even the British court declared itself that it's incompetent to decide the future of the people of Southern Cameroon. And the atrocity they made, they declared themselves as incompetent. Whereas the foreign minister within the British government can tell the United Nations, their representative at the United Nations, that I still have an obligation that my duty, taking a document of the people of Southern Cameroon and hand over to La République, I violate my own norms, and that I should have hand over to the people of Southern Cameroon to decide whether that is what they want. That should have been what the British government should have done. The British government should have hand over the document to the Southern Cameroon and whether is that what they want, and let them decide their fate. Today, our sons and daughters are being murdered indiscriminately because British choose the wrong message and signal today. That is why we're still suffering till the past 56 years. We don't need La République to tell us how we should be governed. We are capable how to govern ourselves because we have governed ourselves. We have governed ourselves. Fellow brothers and sisters, I want to tell you that we are at war. We are at war. You also, let me give you a bit of some stupid individual. They call the government delegate of Bamenda Urban Council. The stupid individual. You all know when during the period of SDF, they were advocating for our autonomy, a freedom that they can elect their own officials. And that led to the creation of mayor electionship. So La République knew that the SDF were going to win most of the council. They instituted what they call the government delegate. The purpose of the government delegate was to control the SDF elected mayor rather than having a reality. Normally, the mayor should be head of a council, but the government instituted a government delegate so that it should supervise the opposition area that were elected. And that is why we have this stupid individual they call the government delegate that stood in the kangaroo court of La République, claiming that he's a government delegate. Government delegate on which city? Without their appointing him, that's part of his collaborators. That's part of the collaborators. And he claimed that the Southern Cameroon, the government delegate of what country? That is the government delegate of La Republique. I want to let Southern Cameroon know that the government delegate of Bamenda is the government delegate of La Republique. It's not the government delegate of the Southern Cameroon. He is not the government delegate of the Southern Cameroon. And therefore, he needs to relocate to La Republique. The government delegate to the Bamenda Urban Council need to relocate to La Republique. And any other individual that their names are on this paper, they need to relocate to La Republique because they have forgone their own identity. We've got enough of La Republique. That individual that claimed that he's the government delegate to the Bamenda Urban Council, let him relocate to La Republique because this is the Southern Cameroon and not La Republique. He was never elected by the people of Southern Cameroon. He's an appointee of La Republique. He needs to relocate to La Republique. Claimed he's the government delegate. To delegate to what? Fellow brothers and sisters, we are at war and we have our enemy within us that are trying to deviate our own objective. We will no longer be part of a colonial territory. We must rule ourselves. We must elect those individuals that are capable to rule us and not have an external factor to tell us how we should be living in our home. It's time. This is the momentum. This is the era. This is the time we must be free. We must be free. And we can no longer depend on a foreign nation to dictate on us how we should live our life. I have been making it clear that the government delegates need to relocate to La Republique because if you haven't been to La Republique and feel the pain, then you will not even know where I am coming from. Imagine that people travel to Yaoundé and they have to sleep on the balcony because they are searching for documents. They have to sleep on the balcony. They have to sleep in the forest. They have to sleep in a balcony or on story building to wait on the line in La Republique for a document to be done. Fellow brothers, this is the moment that we must liberate ourselves or we will remain in the crucifixion. Fellow brothers, this is the time. We will no longer be romancing with the system. We will no longer. Fellow brothers, the government delegate of Bamenda need to relocate because his duty has terminated. His duty has terminated in Southern Cameroon territory. He's no longer needed. We do not need a government delegate of La Republique in the Southern Cameroon. And up to the governors, all those appointees from La Republique. If you own an appointed position from La Republique, then you don't legally be in Southern Cameroon. We have asked you relocate to La Republique and let La Republique keep you there because our people have got enough. Our suffering is enough. This is the last time that we'll be going through this suffering. Fellow brothers, don't want to take so much of your time because you're getting ready for tomorrow. I want to take a moment to thank all of you for watching. I wish you all a happy and good night. Amazonia is free and will be free at last. I wish you all the best. It's Funda Daniel speaking here from the great state of Texas, here in the United States.